everyone, it's me, I'm back, and in this video I'll be talking about my main video, which is on the topic of the bone matrix. Now this week's focus is on the bone matrix, and last week we covered generally about the skeletal system, which we went deep into one specific area, but this week we're going to talk about the bone matrix, which is one small part of the last week's main work. So that is the main work for this week. So in this video, I'll be talking about the functions of the bone matrix, what is the bone matrix, and the components of the bone matrix. Along the way, I'll also be talking about the ways to keep our bone matrix healthy and add in some illustrations and a quiz as well at the end of the video. So let's get started on the first part, which is what is the bone matrix? Well, the bone matrix is an extracellular substance of the bone tissue. So it's basically composes of collagen, hydroxyapatite, ground substance, and other ions. And what its general function is to keep the bone healthy. So it's not only that, but also help the bone to have its strength, its durability, its flexibility, all of those things. So that is the role of the bone matrix. Now, where is it located? Well, the bone matrix is located in the cortical bone, which is the outer layer, and the trabecular bone, which is the spongy inner layer of the bone. So the cortical bone, let me give you a picture of it. Okay. The cortical bone is this hard bone outside. So this is the cortical bone, and as you can see, there is also the trabecular bone, which is the inside portion, which is the spongy layer. That is the trabecular bone, and the outer layer is the cortical bone. So what you're seeing here in this long bone outside is the cortical bone, which is the hard outer layer. That's alive, it's not dead, so remember that. Alright, so that is where the bones are located, where the bone matrix is located. So that covers the part of the definition of the bone matrix. Next, we're going to cover on the functions of the bone matrix. Well, I've talked about the functions, one general function of the bone matrix, which is help it to gain its flexibility and its hardness. So that is one function. But its general function, some of these general functions is support for the bone framework and its strength as well. So that is one function. The next function is mineral storage and homeostasis. So the mineral storage, it stores calcium and phosphate in the bones, and when there's a lack of that in the system, then the bone matrix, the bone will secrete those minerals so that the body can have more of it. So that's calcium and phosphate. And homeostasis is also one of the main functions of it, regulating bone cell activity, which is homeostasis, keeping it stable and releasing things when it is necessary, releasing the minerals when there's a lack of it. There's also bone formation and remodeling through the bone cells that we have, through the bone cells. For example, there's the osteoblast, osteoclast, and osteocytes, which I have covered in the last week about the bone cells. So that is the bone formation and the remodeling. That is for the general functions. How about the specific functions of the inorganic and organic compounds? Well, the organic compounds provides bone matrix with its flexibility and tensile strength. So it's able to help the bone to be flexible. Not flexible like you think, like something made out of rubber. But it gives the bone its flexibility so that it won't be too fragile, which we touch it and then it breaks. So it has that flexibility and tensile strength and can withstand stretching or can withstand tensile pressures. Next is inorganic compounds, which gives the bone matrix its durability and also its hardness and resistance. So that's the fragile part. Now, speaking of which, let's talk about the components of the bone matrix. They are separated in two main parts, which is the organic compounds and the inorganic compounds. So remember, the organic compounds and inorganic compounds are extracellular matter, which is part of the bone matrix. But the cellular component is the cells itself, which includes the osteoblasts, osteoclasts, and osteocytes. So yeah, that is the cellular component. The organic and inorganic compounds is what we're going to focus in this video, which is the extracellular matter. Let's talk first about the organic matter. Well, the organic matter consists of collagen fibers, ground substance, and let's break this down. What is collagen? Well, we've heard of collagen from help our skin, help our bones, and help our teeth. So what exactly is it? Well, collagen is a kind of substance that can help our skin to be smooth, flexible, and gives everything its flexibility and help it to withstand tensile strength. So that's when your mom says you to eat something that gives you collagen. Like my mom always tell me to eat that cartilage, the edible cartilage of the fat or the skin of the fish, the cartilage portion of the fish that is edible, so that I can have more collagen in my body. So that helps the bones be flexible and withstand tensile pressures. That is collagen. Next is ground substance, which includes proteoglycans and also glycoproteins, which are two substances that fill the spaces between the collagen and the hydroxyapatite, which we'll talk later, of the inorganic compounds to withstand compressive forces. So basically it fills in that gaps between the collagen and the inorganic compounds so that there won't be any more gaps. And that will help it to be more denser. It helps to be denser and won't break easily. So yeah, that is the ground substance's role and what is it. Next, we'll talk about the inorganic compounds, which includes the hydroxyapatite and also other ions. So the hydroxyapatite consists of calcium and phosphate. So that is the hydroxyapatite that I talked about in the ground substance. Other ions of the inorganic compounds may include bicarbonate, citrate, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. So there are also other ions and other components, but I'll just mainly talk about the main and primary parts of it, because if we talk about all of its parts, it will be a long video. And I'll have to give more explanations on what is it, and that will be too long for a video. Excuse me. Okay, so summary. Organic compounds include collagen fibers and ground substance. Inorganic compounds include hydroxyapatite and other ions, which for example include bicarbonate, citrate, sodium, potassium, etc. And I have some pictures to show you here. And at the end of the video, not the end, but near end of the video, I'll talk about ways to boost bone matrix health. So firstly, I have this one, the composition of the bone, which is a fancy word for components of the bone. There's the extracellular matter, which I talked to you about, which includes the organic matter, and the inorganic matter, which includes the organic matter is collagen fibers, inorganic matrix is the bone mineral, calcium, phosphate, hydroxyapatite, and the cellular components is the osteoblast, osteocytes, and osteoclasts. So yeah, that is the first picture I want to show you. Next is this model, which I have in my mind map as well, as you can see on that red part. So here is the bone without mineral. So the bone without mineral will be just this flexible, without the hydroxyapatite and the inorganic compounds, will be just this flexible mess. So it will be that, but if we don't have collagen, it will be too fragile, and we don't want that either, because if we touch it, it will then break. So yeah, that is the model I want to show you about. The bone without mineral will be too flexible, and the bone without collagen will be too fragile. Therefore, we need to have a balance between those two substances, which I'll talk about the ways to boost bone health. So yeah, that is for the illustrations I want to show you. The same model can be here in my mind map. The bone without hydroxyapatite and other ions, minerals, which is the inorganic compound, will be too fragile, and the bone without collagen will be too fragile. The bone without hydroxyapatite will become too flexible. So yeah, that is the model that I want to show you about. So yeah, that is all for the things about my mind map. But then I've also mentioned the ways to boost bone health. So the bone health, you may seen this illustration before in my last video, and I want to show this video again in my video because protecting and having the boost bone is actually helping to keep our bone matrix healthy. So here are some ways to boost bone health. Add calcium, stay active, get vitamin D, quit smoking, limit alcohol, protein power, and also one more thing, which is drink and eat things that have collagen in it, so that our body can consume more collagen and help with the bone matrix health and also the overall health of the bone. So yeah, that is the 6 ways to boost bone health, which is bone matrix health as well. So lastly, to conclude this video, I have this quiz here. Which of the following is not an organic compound? Now, if you recall, I've talked about the inorganic and the organic compounds, which you can see that the collagen is not an inorganic compound, and it's different from these 3. Now, where is the potassium and the citrate? You might ask, well, it's in the other ions part. So hydroxyapatite and potassium and citrate are all organic components here, and collagen, A, is not an inorganic compound. So that is all that I have to say for my main video this week. I hope that you may learn something new from this video or just review some of the things that you have learned. Thank you again for listening to my video, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye!